Very good morning, children. I am Deepa, your physical science teacher from Dr. Besant School. So, welcome back to our physical science session again. I hope you are watching the videos and understanding all the concepts, right? Up to the previous session, what we learned? We have learned all the three common eye defects. What are they? Myopia, hypermetropia, and presbyopia. A common eye defects, why the defects will form, and what are the corrections of the defects, all that we learned. And also we learned about power of lens. What is meant by power of lens? The reciprocal of focal length is called power of lens. P equal to 1 by f when f is in meters, and P equal to 100 by f when f is in centimeters. And what is the unit of power? Diopter, represented with capital D. This is all we learnt, and the problem also we have done, isn't it? And I told you to do, I gave one problem and asked you to do and send to me. Okay, do it and send to me. Okay, children, right. Today's session we are going to learn about prism. So before going to that, I hope you all are ready with your books. In your textbook, page number 96, prism. What is a prism? Given there, see, a prism is a transparent medium separated from the surrounding medium. A prism is a transparent medium. What is meant by transparent medium? Transparent means which allows the light to pass through this. So a prism is a transparent medium because it is allowing the light to pass through it, which is separated by the surrounding medium. Separated in what way? Difference in the refraction of light from the surrounding medium. So which is separated from the surrounding medium by at least two plane surfaces. So it will have at least minimum two plane surfaces which are inclined. Inclined means you know or not? Which are inclined at a certain angle in such a way. So which are inclined, it is having at least two plane surfaces which are inclined at certain angle, making that they both are inclined at a certain angle. Yeah, such a way that light incident on one of the plane surfaces emerges from the other plane surface. The light which is incident on one plane surface will emerges out through another plane surface. Have you understood anything? See, this is the prism. You can see. Can you see? Okay, this is the prism. See, children. This is the prism. So it is a transparent medium, means it is allowing the light to pass through it. It is a transparent medium separated by the surrounding medium. What is surrounding medium? Air. So this is separate to the air. Its refractive index is different to the refractive index of air. So prism is a transparent medium that is separated by the surrounding medium, having at least two plane surfaces. Say at least two plane surfaces. And how are the two plane surfaces? They are inclined to each other. The two plane surfaces are inclined. So they are in inclined way. Isn't it? Making certain angle. Between these two inclined surfaces, there is an angle or not? So there are two, at least minimum two plane surfaces which are inclined, making certain angle. Understood? This is what this prism, making certain angle. And what more is given such a way that light incident on one plane surface. If the light ray is incident, means touching one plane surface, that same light ray will emerges out. Emerges means comes out through the other plane surface. You understood? Light incident on one plane surface emerges out through another plane surface. This is what prism. I hope you all understood. Understood, children? So shall we write on the board what is a prism? A prism is a transparent medium prism is a transparent medium separated from the surrounding medium. Separated from the surrounding medium by at least two plane surfaces. By at least two plane surfaces inclined, two plane surfaces which are inclined at a certain angle, which are inclined at a certain angle in such a way that if light incident at one plane surface, light incident on one of the light incident on one of the plane surface, then it emerges from the other plane surface. Emerges from other plane surface. This is what a prism. I hope I am clear, children. So what is a prism? A prism is a transparent medium. A prism is a transparent medium separated by the surrounding medium. Okay, it is separated from the surrounding medium by at least two plane surfaces. Two plane surfaces which are inclined at a certain angle in such a way that if light incident on one plane surfaces emerges from other plane surface. This is what prism. See, to understand the behavior of light when it is incident on the plane of a prism and passes into the prism, we need to define certain terms associated with prisms. Consider a triangular glass prism. It contains two triangular bases and three rectangular plane lateral surfaces. So this triangular prism will have two triangular surfaces. See, is it triangle or not? See, children, here it is a triangle, and here this side also triangle. So two triangular surfaces and 1, 2 and 3. Isn't it? Rectangular shapes. 1, 2, 3. 3 rectangular lateral surfaces. So it have 2 triangular surfaces and 3 rectangular lateral surfaces. Yes or no? Understood, children? This is a triangular base. Here triangular base. 1, 2, 3. 3 rectangular lateral surfaces. It is called a triangular prism. Am I clear? So it is having 2 triangular surfaces and 3 rectangular lateral surfaces. Now, these lateral surfaces are inclined to each other. Now let us consider the triangle PQR represents outline of the prism. Suppose you will take the triangular surface and keep on the board and draw its outline. Okay, then what shape you will get? Just one surface, triangular surface you took and draw the outline. What shape you are getting? You are getting the shape of a triangle. Let us name this triangle as PQR. Carefully you listen, children. We are naming this triangle as PQR. Okay, and now let us consider an incident ray assume that a light ray is incident on the plane surface PQ. So a light ray is incident on this surface, plane surface PQ at a point M. This light ray is touching this plane surface PQ at point M. Now what you should do? You should draw a perpendicular at this point M. We should draw a perpendicular. Perpendicular means you all know or not? Normal. We'll draw a normal perpendicular which is 90 degrees at this point M. See. For this point M, draw a perpendicular. Okay children? Now, what is this ray? It is incident ray. This ray is incident ray, and the angle formed between this normal and the incident ray is called angle of incidence, represented with I1. We represent with I1. So, I1 is the angle of incidence. I1 is the angle of incidence. What will happen after touching at point M? The light ray will get refracted because it is entering into another medium. That glass prism it is entering, isn't it? So at M this light ray gets refracted, and this refracted ray passes and touches the other surface of the prism. This is the refracted ray. So this refracted ray touching the other surface PR. Other plane surface PR it is touching, isn't it? So touching the other surface PR at point N. Understanding children? This refracted ray passing in the prism and passing like that and touching the other plane surface PR at point N. Okay, after touching that what will happen? That light ray will emerges out, comes out. This light ray after refraction comes out in this direction. The ray which comes out is called emergent ray. The ray which comes out through the other surface of the prism is called emergent ray. Okay, and now at this for this end draw a perpendicular, another normal at point N. We are drawing a normal at point N, and there formed an angle between this normal ray at N and the emergent ray, which we call it as angle of emergence, I2. So what is meant by I2? I2 is called angle of emergence. Clear children? I2 is angle of emergence. And extend, now see here, there inclined surfaces PQ and PR forming an angle here. There formed an angle between PQ and PR, which is called angle of prism, A. A means angle of prism, or refracted angle of the prism. Understood? So the angle formed between the two surfaces, inclined surfaces PQ and PR, is called angle of prism, represented with A. So A is the angle of prism. Clear children? Now extend this incident ray. You extend the incident ray. Suppose this prism is not there, then what is the direction of incident ray? Extend that incident ray in a straight line in its original direction. Suppose prism is not there. In the same way, extend the refracted ray also. Extend the refracted ray in a straight path. You can observe both incident and refracted rays will meet at a point O. So that angle formed between this incident ray and refracted ray is called angle of deviation, represented with small d. Small d. What is that small d? Angle of deviation. Small d is the angle of deviation. You understood children? See, you extended incident ray in a straight path. If the prism is not there, that is the path of the incident ray. Extend the refracted ray also. Both are meeting at a point O. So this angle formed between these two rays is called angle of deviation. Why this angle only you are considering? What is meant by deviation? Deviating the path means changing the path. See, if the prism is not there, this is the angle of incidence. It should go in this path. But as prism is there, what happened? It deviated its path and entered in this direction. Instead of going in a straight path, it deviated its path and entered like this. So, in what angle it has deviated? Instead of going like this, in what angle it has deviated? That is called angle of deviation. I hope I am clear, children. You are following me, right? So these are the terms which you should understand in prism. Angle of incidence, angle of emergence, angle of prism and angle of deviation. Clear? This is the incident ray, angle of incidence, normal ray, emergent ray which is coming outside and angle of emergence. This is angle of prism between PQ and PR and incident ray and emergent ray, it forms angle of deviation. These are the terms which you should learn in the prism. Please note down quickly. Completed, children? Now we will go to the lab activity to find the angle of, finding the refractive index of prism. In this lab activity, see in your textbook, what is the aim of the activity? Finding the refractive index of a prism. What are the materials required? A prism, piece of white chart of size 20 by 20 centimeters, pencils, pins, scale and protractor. Now what you should do? Same what we have done up to now, the same process only what we have written. Suppose let us consider this is the board, a white chart is fixed to this. Now we will take a prism, the triangular prism and draw the boundary of that prism, outline. What you will get the outline? Same what we have done now like that only. Observe carefully, children. You got a triangle, isn't it? Now name this triangle as P, Q, R. Okay. Now consider one of the plane surface PQ and mark a point M. Mark a point M on this plane surface PQ, one of the surface. Okay. Now for this M, draw the normal perpendicular. Draw a normal perpendicular 90 degrees for that point M. Now using your protractor, keep the protractor here at M and mark a point at 30 degrees. Make an angle of 30 degrees using the protractor. Using the protractor, make an angle of 30 degrees, which this is angle of incidence I1. So we have taken I1 equal to 30 degrees. By measuring with the protractor, you have taken I1 equal to 30 degrees. Clear up to here, children? Right. Now take two pins, okay, and fix the two pins at 2 points on this incident ray. Name these points as A and B. A, B. You remember glass prism, what we have done, rectangular glass prism in that refraction chapter, refraction at plane surface, same method. So fix two pins A and B on that incident ray. Understood? That 30 degrees ray which we have taken on that, fix the two pins A and B. Now what you will do is, observing from this side PR, from this surface PR, observe the two pins from this surface and take two more pins and fix the two more pins CD like this. Fix two more pins CD. Observing these pins, we should fix two more pins C and D which all the four should appear in a straight line. While seeing from the glass prism, observing from the glass prism, all the four pins A, B, C, D should be appeared like a straight line. They should be appeared in a straight line. Like that, observing that pins, you will fix two more pins C and D. Okay. How you will fix? First, what you should do? You have drawn the triangle and removed the prism. Then you have done all this. Again, place the prism in its place. Okay, exactly the boundaries are suitable, matched, exactly fixed in the boundaries. You should place the prism. After placing the prism, then observe the two pins and fix two more pins such that all the four are in a straight line. Once you fix the pins such that all four are in a straight line, then should fix in such a way all the four will appear in a straight line. C, D. Once you fix these two pins, then remove the prism. Take the prism outside. Now join the C and D to the other. You will get like this in a straight line. Join C and D to the other surface PR. Once you fix the two pins CD such that all the four are in a straight line, then remove the prism and join that points, remove the pins, join that point C and D to the other surface PR at point N. I hope you are able to following me, children. Follow me. Right. Now at this point N, draw a perpendicular, normal. 90 degrees you draw. Okay, children. Now, what is this ray called? This is the emergent ray. And this angle is angle of emergence. I2 is the angle of emergence. Using your protractor, measure this angle, how much you got. You measure that angle of emergence. You should measure and note down in the table. Here you should draw a table, record a table. I1, I2, D. These three values we should record. This I1 already 30 degrees we have taken initially, isn't it? Now, after finding I2, you should note down in the table. Am I clear? Now, join this MN. What will be this MN? What is called this MN ray is called? What this MN ray is called? It is called refracted ray. So, MN is the refracted ray inside the prism. Am I clear, children? Right. Now extend this incident ray. AB, extend this ray and extend the emergent ray also. What for we are extending? You should extend only in a straight line. Why we are extending? To find angle of deviation. Extend incident ray, extend emergent ray, both will meet at a point O. Now here find the angle using the protractor. Using the protractor, measure the angle here, which is angle of deviation represented with D. So measure this angle and note down that value here. By doing the activity, we will get angle of emergence and we will get angle of deviation I2 and D. Understood? And also find the angle of prism A. The angle formed between PQ and PR is angle of prism. Find this angle also. I hope I am clear, children. Understood? So you will find these two angles. Now again repeat the same activity using different angles. Next, angle of incidence, take 40 degrees and find I2 and D. Next, 45 degrees or 50 degrees you take and find I2D. 60 degrees I2D. Like that we should do the lab activity, which we will get different angles. Am I clear, children? After getting that, what you should do? After getting different angles, you should draw a graph on your graph paper. Why? To find angle of minimum deviation. Okay, what for angle of minimum deviation? If we know angle of minimum deviation value, then only we can find the refractive index of prism. We can find the refractive index of prism using the value of minimum deviation. Okay, how you will find? So on a graph paper, on x-axis, we will write angle of incidence values. I2 value, sorry, I1. angle of incidence values I1. Whereas on y-axis, we will write angle of deviation values. All the values here you will record 0, 10, 20, 30, 40 like that. And here also 10, 20, 30, 40 like that you will note the values. And using this table, considering these two values I1 and D, I1 and D, I1 and D, taking these values, we should plot the graph. Understood? Once we do the activity, we will get the values correctly. Then you do the graph. Now then you will get the graph. What graph you will get? You know, you will get a curved graph. You get a graph like this. Proper curve you will get. Am I clear? So once you got the graph, how to find angle of minimum deviation? What you will do is, this point is there, no? This exact in the curve. Okay, the lower point in the curve. Take the lower point in the curve. Now from this point, draw a tangent parallel to x-axis. At this lower point of the curve, draw a tangent parallel to x-axis, which will meets the y-axis. You understood? For this curve, at the lower point, draw a tangent parallel to x-axis, in which the tangent will meet at y-axis. So at what point of y-axis this tangent is meeting? This value is angle of, this value gives angle of minimum deviation. Angle of minimum deviation represented with capital D. Angle of deviation is small d. Angle of minimum deviation is capital D. Clear, children? At the lower point of curve, draw a tangent parallel to x-axis which meets a point at y-axis. That value at y-axis where this tangent is meeting, that is angle of minimum deviation. At what value of angle of incidence you will get angle of minimum deviation? At what value of angle of incidence we are getting the angle of minimum deviation? How do we find that? For the same lower point, listen carefully, for the same lower point, draw a tangent parallel to y-axis. See, for the same lower point, draw a tangent parallel to y-axis. Parallel to y-axis, which meets the x-axis at a point. For the same lower point, draw a tangent parallel to y-axis, which meets x-axis at a point. That value gives angle of incidence. Angle of incidence, which forms angle of minimum deviation. Here I got 30 degrees angle of incidence, and angle of minimum deviation I got in between 10 and 20, that is 15 degrees. What is the meaning of this? When I take angle of incidence 30 degrees, I will get angle of minimum deviation, that is 15 degrees. Means minimum, the least deviation of the incident ray is at 15 degrees angle. That is the least deviation of incident ray. Below that it will not deviate. You understood, children? So at this angle of minimum deviation, listen carefully. At this angle of minimum deviation, angle of incidence will be equal to angle of emergence. At this angle of minimum deviation, angle of incidence will be equal to angle of emergence. I1 and I2 values will be equal. That means, as I told here, at 30 degrees angle of incidence, I got angle of minimum deviation 15 degrees. Then what will be the angle of emergence? Angle of emergence will also be equal to 30 degrees only. Because at this angle of minimum deviation, this refracted ray will be parallel to the base of the prism. The refracted ray will be exactly parallel to the base of the prism. That's why these two angles I1 and I2 will be equal at angle of minimum deviation capital D. For other angles of deviation, this both are not equal. They will be different values. But at angle of minimum deviation, this both angles will be equal. I1 will be equal to I2. Am I clear, children? Understood? Now using these values, we will find the refractive index of the prism. For finding that, there is a derivation. Derivation is there to find the refractive index of a glass prism, which we will discuss in our next session. Okay, it takes half an hour time to do the derivation. Carefully we should do. But before going to the derivation, you should be thorough with this. With this activity and the table and drawing the graph, using the graph, finding the angle of minimum deviation. By this angle of minimum deviation value only, we can find the derivation. We can do the derivation for finding the formula for refractive index of glass prism. This is our lab activity. I hope I am clear, children. Once again, what you should do is you should read the textbook. Read this lab activity given in page number 97 and 98. How the graph should be drawn, how to find angle of minimum deviation, what all I explained given here up to the here. If you are thorough with this, then we can go to the derivation. If you do not understand this, you will not understand the derivation also. So will you read this, children? Read all thoroughly. Then in the next session, we will do the derivation. Okay, children? Thank you.